probably play Amy Schumer's appearance on the Charlie Sheen roast to get everyone all excited about her, right?
Yeah.
Because she's out in the green room, and I got a lot to get to today. I got to still play Richard and Sal's new phony phone call that involves Ronnie.
Oh, that was an old one you just played.
That was just old, yeah. Amy Schumer is a young comedian. I think when Whitney Cummings went off to do her TV show, they had to get somebody new on Comedy Central who could be hot and be funny. So here is a. Hold on, Gary. Slow it. Oh, I'm going to play Amy. I'm going to play Amy on. Do you listen to the show out there? You ever see the poor guest getting heave-hoed right out of here?
I was listening.
All right. I just thought it would be weird to play her appearance while she was sitting here.
Okay.
Okay? That's how I generally work into these things. Okay. How many years I've been with
Because we go over all of this before we get in.
Well, all you got to do is listen to the radio. That's why I put a speaker in your room.
Hi.
Hey, Amy. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
I'm happy to have you.
Look at this.
Look at your headphones.
Hi.
Look at you. How are you? Good to meet
good.
you.
Good to meet you. Thank you so much.
Oh, we're glad to have you here.
What is this?
That's
this
a wire.
hurts.
What hurts?
What's this thing?
Let me see. I don't know. It's a clip of
It's
some
like
sort.
a netting.
It's like stabbing me. This is
it?
this is karma.
Is it hurting you? I could have it fixed.
No, I'll just like I'll awkwardly sit like this. I'll hold it out like this.
Hey, Gary, the headphone wire is frayed and it's sticking into Amy's neck.
My precious angelic
neck.
You come out of here all marked and scarred.
Be like, what happened? I'm like, oh,
What is that?
Howard.
I don't know.
What happened?
I don't know.
Looks like someone had beaver teeth and gnawed through it.
A Jackass fan came in here.
Yeah, right.
This is their attempt.
Switch to number 2?
Okay, whatever you want to do.
Ooh, thank you.
Look at this. All right, here, I'll switch your microphones. I mean, headphones, microphones. It's both. Watch Gary at work.
Oh, my God. Look at this. Thank
That's
you.
better. Okay.
Miracle worker.
Feel
I
good?
feel wonderful. Yeah, I feel good.
Amy, so whenever I have a comedian in here and they do one of those roasts, I love to ask them about how awkward it is because when you sit there,
It's dangerous. You got Mike Tyson you're goofing on.
Yeah, and he was like so gentle, but you do have the feeling like, oh, you could murder me right now.
I watched that roast and I thought, I don't think Mike Tyson understands, like, he should just quiet down. Like, he was actually arguing with you.
Like, are we going to take this? Like, he's like starting a riot.
I think some people don't ever watch a roast before they do it. And so he thought it was like an urban, like, comedy situation where it was, like, good to participate. But it was like, no. He kept talking to me. That's why I had to.
Did anyone calm him down during the commercials and explain, Mike, this is something where you just kind of take it?
Yeah, Don King was there.
Yeah.
No, nobody. He was.
Don King's there to explain it to him.
Yeah, everyone was so worried. I think he was like the wild card that they were like, he could really blow it. But he did a great job. He did, I think, even better than it seemed like he did.
You got criticized at the roast because, you did a joke about Steve. Steve-O was the guy who died. But I didn't think it was that offensive of a joke. It wasn't about that guy. It was more about Steve.
It was about Steve. Yeah, no, I really liked the Jackass guys in those movies. I totally just thought of it as another roast joke. That wasn't like...
Was he angry with you afterward?
Well, Comedy Central chose to cut to him looking like he was about to start sobbing.
Right.
So people were like, oh my God, like, why did you ruin Steve-O's life? But I didn't think that would be like the joke heard around the world. I didn't talk to him after because he was at the hospital because his nose was broken.
Because of this thing he did on the road?
Because Tyson, yeah. He kept running into Tyson's fist.
And he broke his nose.
Yeah. That was the goal.
That is insane.
Yeah, it wasn't fun to watch. I left the stage. I was like, that's not.
And you know what?
Need that.
They barely spent any time on it. Was like all for nothing because Steve just ran into Mike Tyson's fist and he broke his own nose.
Yeah, if you watched at the very end, William Shatner's watching and he goes, he says something like, Steve, oh my God. Like, it was just, it was not a fun display. I didn't like seeing that live.
I feel bad for Steve-O because he's not, I know he wants to be a comedian and stuff.
Yeah, he's doing stand-up.
But he always then relies on the stunt that's going to eventually get him killed.
There is a sadness to that, but people love him.
Yes.
Like, he has I found out the hard way, they have majorly hardcore fans.
I love Steve. I've had him on the show many times, but I always think he's going to kill himself. Like, he'll all of a sudden light himself on fire, and I go, one time this is going to go horribly wrong.
He's a liability.
That's the fear because he feels he has to deliver that.
I know. And it was like, he is going in the stand-up direction, but anything like that. There's a sadness to it.
Now, I hadn't heard your roast in a while, and then I realized you were making some funny jokes about Patrice O'Neal's diabetes.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. I've had him on the show.
Yeah, I love him.
But he had like a stroke over the weekend.
He did. He had a stroke.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I saw
didn't
that.
even hear that.
I saw that on Twitter that he had. Is it a severe thing where
I think so. Like there's only been I work at the Comedy Cellar a lot, and there's only been some sprinklings of what happened, but yeah, it's
What's
really.
the sprinkle? I mean, what do you hear?
He's not seeing anyone. Like nobody's allowed to go see him, but he, God, I don't know. I'm gonna start crying. He was like passed out. Like I think maybe he can blink but he can't move. He can't talk. But this is like third hand
information.
Yeah. So yeah. But if anybody wants to email love for Patrice at Gmail.
Very funny guy.
Set up.
Incredibly funny, yeah.
Oh, he's one of the best comedians working. I think people who don't know much about the roast think that there's any sort of venom there, but it's like, it's more, you get to go after the comedians the hardest.
Right.
It's called Love for Patrice.
At Gmail.
At Gmail. And you can write him.
Just write, you can just.
Is he going to live? You don't know.
I don't know.
I just thought all comedians know the health of every other comedian.
No, I mean, he's a friend. Like
they're a small community.
Especially the New York comics, it is kind of a tight knit thing. Yeah. But it's that there aren't really answers yet. It's not that I haven't gotten word. There's no real answers yet.
So did it ruin the foot joke? I mean, the fact that Patrice.
No, I still think that's like a sweet joke. That joke was gold.
Yeah.
But no, he loved it. He was, and he's been in here. He's the most vicious. He can just slaughter you.
Oh my God. Funny story. I thought he was terrific. I heard some comedy tape of him.
Amazing.
So I invited him on the show. He came on a couple of times, I think. I think I have this right. I'm not sure I even remember. So at one point I said to Gary, gee, we haven't seen Patrice O'Neal in a while. He said, "Oh, he's not doing the show anymore. He's mad at you." I said, "What did I do? I don't even know him that well."
You had a falling out. You didn't know
we had a falling out, and he said you were on the air one time. You couldn't think of his name, and you said to Robin, he's a heavy set or a fat black guy. I can't think of his name. The comedian we have on. So Robin said, "Oh, Patrice O'Neal," and he got angry with me that I didn't remember his name.
Oh,
really?
Because he still talks to me. I saw him outside.
Did you?
Not too long ago, and I said, "Hey, Patrice," and he was like, "Hey, Robin, how you doing?"
Really? Oh, well.
But I hadn't seen him in here, and I did wonder why we hadn't had him in.
He's sensitive. He's a sensitive man. He holds a grudge.
I said to Gary, "Oh, that's such a shame." I said, "I don't
he was
know
always
him."
Funny.
Yeah, he's great.
His name was not on the tip of my tongue that day, but I was trying to describe to Robin who I was talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he should understand that sometimes I have to remind Howard of my name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, who are you?
You were great on the roast, Robin.
Oh, thank you.
Did you have fun doing that?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, right?
A lot of fun.
But it's tough. It's like all your worst nightmares as a child in school coming true.
Was that the first roast you ever did for Comedy Central?
Yeah, I found out 2 weeks before that I was doing it.
So are you the hot girl who now gets the Whitney?
Are you going to take the Whitney slot?
Do you get the Whitney?
I'll take that slot for sure.
You'll
I'll take Lampanelli's slot. I'll take whoever's. Yeah, I bet she has a nice slot.
So would you say that your career is struggling? Like it's a tough career because now
are you making it? What is going on?
I'm here.
Where are we at? You're
I'm
here. Now
this looks like Vegas.
You were. It does, doesn't it? It's really tacky set. You were, but don't say that because the guys are very proud of it.
No, it looks amazing. This is a dream come true.
I always say to any of the comedians, were there jokes that you were going to do at the Charlie Sheen roast that got cut?
Yes.
There were.
Would
you share those with us?
Yes, I will. I'll share some. Let's see. And I don't remember why these were cut. Some of them, like Harvey Levin, backed out at the last second. He was supposed to do it.
TMZ guy. Okay.
Yeah. And did you know he's gay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that until I was. Oh, okay.
Okay.
He just talked about cock nonstop, and you were like, "Oh, wait a minute."
He just
dawned on me.
the whole time.
It actually dawned on me that he was gay when he talked about cock for 20 minutes.
Is that what led you to believe that?
That's right.
I said, Harvey, you are one tiny little queer. The only box you'll ever come close to are the three you stand on to see over the cubicles. I said, you've done more fudge packing than a Keebler elf who loves anal. I said, Harvey, you bottom-feeding, despicable Jew. And I could say that because I'm honest.
Right.
You make your entire race go from saying never again to, well, just this once.
You should have been there.
I know. He backed out. I was so bummed. I was going to go after him.
Yeah. Now, do you write these yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, that's hard, huh?
It is.
What is the process of coming up with roast jokes? What is the inspiration? Like, what do? You just sit yourself down in a room and go, I am going to think about Harvey Levin. about
what's the meanest, worst thing? What do I think his deepest insecurity is?
Right.
Or just like my fat jokes about Shatner. I'd originally written those for John Lovitz, but Lovitz looked pretty good, so I was like, I just kind of transferred them to Shatner. And then I found out while we were sitting there that he's like in his 80s.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm calling this 80-year-old guy fat.
But made it even
give
funnier.
him a break. But he was a good sport.
Right,
yeah.
right.
But they cut out my Jeff Ross ones.
Do you feel bad about making fun of people at all? Does it get?
If I thought I really hurt someone's feelings, I would feel like shit.
Do you come up with really mean jokes that are so bad that you go, I cannot say this on a roast?
Yeah.
But that's the process. You've got to let everything fly.
Yeah.
And then you kind of tone it
which
down.
is weird because that Steve-O joke, I did not think that was going to be anything. You know, I didn't go into this roast like, I don't care who I hurt. I want to see my name in lights. I just wanted to do a good job and write jokes that I was proud of.
The other one I thought that was really was the, those two women whose lives
Your daughters?
Your daughter.
Yeah,
that was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a real good one.
I thought that was one that would have gotten more flack. But
How long
you never
does
know.
it take you? Like you get basically like 2 or 3 minutes on those roasts.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to come up with your roast material, your A game for a roast?
Well, it's 6 minutes. We each get like between 6 and 8 minutes, except Jeff Ross gets like an hour.
Right.
Because he's so good at it.
Yeah, he's the best. He's
Right.
the best. Well, Geraldo was the best.
Yeah.
Greg Giraldo was great.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So I think I found out that I might maybe do it like a month before. So I just started writing, and going around trying my set out. When I found out I was definitely doing it 2 weeks before, I went to every club and tried out the jokes.
Every joke, right?
And
Yeah,
Charlie
which is
Sheen is pretty easy. I mean, that's
a lot to work with, and you don't feel bad doing it because his life is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know, there's like not that much sadness to him, and I was glad he had us all over at his house the night before.
Oh, really?
At his manager's house, and he was just so cool. He just, I think, wanted to look us in the eye and make sure we weren't like, we're gonna get you.
That's kind of weird. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What a preemptive strike.
It was, well, I thought it was a great idea. It's just because
But does that make you eliminate some of the jokes that the fact that you were at his home?
Yeah, when Lovitz wasn't really fat, I eliminated those jokes.
No, but I mean, did it make you eliminate any of your Charlie Sheen material because you were meeting him?
Oh, no, not at all.
I would think maybe that would ruin it ahead of time. If I was Comedy Central, I'd be like, no one's getting together the night before.
No, they liked it. I think they're going to make it a tradition.
I see.
Because it's like, the way I felt about it was like, we're all kind of we're all doing this show together. We're all making this show together.
What do you mean they decided to call you like a month in advance and say maybe you'll be on?
Well, they shoot for the stars. Like, I think they put an offer out. They put out offers to like Johnny Depp. You know, they hope someone's going through a bad phase. Like they'll just catch someone having a meltdown.
But is Johnny Depp really the right guy to have to one of those roles? You got to be really.
He's hilarious. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Johnny Depp, I mean, would be a disaster. Although people are excited to see Johnny Depp, the movie star.
People love famous people.
Yeah, but I mean, you need a couple of views.
You need comedian, like comics do the best on there, no question. They sweeten everybody else's set after the fact, but the comics I think always do the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite part of the whole process was running around getting ready.
So what did they cut of you? What did you say about Jeffrey Ross that they cut out?
Oh, they cut out all my Jeff Ross jokes.
Really?
I to intro to him, I was like, Jeff Ross is gross. I was like, but I mean, I could see a girl hooking up with you, Jeff. I would sit on your face just so I wouldn't have to look at it.
That's good. Why did they cut that?
I don't know. I think just for time. They like to see the stars. Like, I mean, you know, and he's a star, but he's not Sheen. Kate Walsh she's had such a full life, but no one to share it with. She really proves that no amount of money in the world can fill the hole that her uncle used to. They said no. They're like, no. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. I would have liked her.
Right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
She was cool. She's so cool. She would have been fine with it.
Does it kill you inside when you've crafted these jokes, you went to comedy clubs, and then they go, ooh,
and they stay on that piece of paper.
You mean the audience or Comedy Central?
Does it kill you that like you spent all this time working on a joke and then suddenly Comedy Central says at the last minute, ooh, no, no one's ever going to hear it?
Yeah, it hurts.
Does, right?
It's like a loss. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't wait almost to deliver that joke.
Yeah, there's so many changes last minute that I was like, oh, it's going to be like this. Like I was supposed to go up earlier, and then they're like, you're going almost at the end. So it's all these things, and you're just like, oh, and they don't care about. They care about the celebrities. I didn't even get like my makeup touched up. Nobody told me the red carpet had started. I was like, anyone want my picture? And they were like, no, thanks. No one knows you.
Do you have these jokes memorized in a sense because you've worked so long on them?
Well, only worked for 2 weeks on them, really. So a little bit, like I'd said them a bunch, but they're not on the tip of my tongue like my act would be.
Is it your biggest fear that you'll craft a joke for the roast and then you're delivering it and then you stumble like over a word and then all of a sudden, like Sarah Silverman told me that's her biggest fear.
My biggest fear is rape.
Rape. Next to rape.
Then, right after rape, a close second is no, not at all. I don't know. I don't think so.
Would your biggest fear be getting raped at the roast?
Yeah, getting raped on TV.
And stumbling over your lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Speaking of rape.
Yeah.
So the one taboo thing they said to you, you can go do the Charlie Sheen roast, do whatever you want. But Mike Tyson, you can't mention
talk about the rapings.
You can't talk about rapings.
Yeah, but we sort of skirted around that because once they realized, because it wasn't the network that said no rape, it was like I think Tyson's wife, or they were like, hey, can we just sweep that rape under the rug?
Yeah.
And we were all like, yeah, of course, we wouldn't bring that up. But one of my jokes, I just said, when you speak, you sound like a girl crying. Do you give yourself an erection? But he was like,
he didn't even understand that.
Yeah, it was that felt bad. That felt like like making fun of someone who was just like, what?
Why didn't you say?
The whole time he was saying, hey, are we going to take this? I was like, oh, that brings up the rape to me.
I know. He's like, when should I start raping this girl? Shatner's like, I don't know.
Why didn't you say to Mike Tyson, I know you said no to the rape jokes, but since when does no mean no?
No means yes, Mike.
Yeah.
I wrote some good rape stuff that I had to cut. Losing the rape hurt. That really hurt.
That was a good minute.
That was a rape.
Yeah, you got raped by the rape joke.
Yeah.
So when you do these Comedy Central roasts, that brings you, like, I had never really heard of you, and you were on Last Comic Standing, and you came in 4th place.
Yeah.
And yet I never watched that show.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I didn't care about. I can't even believe it's still. Is it still on the air?
I don't know.
You don't even know.
Sometimes
I'd never seen it before I did it.
They don't. I don't think it was on this
it has
summer.
launched. No one.
Right. You know how American Idol had Kelly Clarkson? There is no one that got famous off that show?
No, not at all, which was a great thing. I'd been doing stand-up 3 years. I was like, who's from out of town? Like doing soft shoe, and luckily no one saw it. So I got to then, for a year after Last Comic, I went around and I headlined because, enough people watched it that you're a draw on the road. I really just got away with it. I'm surprised no one got their money back. And then I went back to opening for Attell and Norton and featuring and going on the road, and now I'm a headliner again.
Yeah, right. Did you always feel that you wanted to be a stand-up comic? Was this something like was a burning desire?
No, I'm looking to get out. I'm thinking about going to dental school.
You want that sitcom?
I don't know if I want that. I want to do work I'm proud of, like everybody,
Right.
But I love stand-up.
Where'd you grow up?
Rockville Center.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
well,
I know.
A horrible place.
It is a horrible place.
I hated it.
I did not fit
A lot of funny people come out of Rockville Center.
That's true. Attell's from there also.
I always tell Robin, I thought it was very anti-Semitic. They have the archdiocese there.
Yes. They called me, instead of Amy Schumer, they called me Amy Jumer.
Oh, wow.
I'm serious. And one day, it was like this summer day, and I was walking past this bodega, and that's a deli for.
We don't know that. Yeah, right.
I did Rosetta Stone,
right.
And these kids start throwing pennies at me, and I didn't even know that was like I was confused because they looked really mad, but I was like, "This is awesome!"
Hey, free money.
Like well, Stephen Goonies.
Hey, they like me. They really like me.
Yeah, no, I dealt with total anti-Semitism in Rockville Center. They have that golf club and beach clubs where they're like, I'd have to change my last name so they didn't know I was Jewish. It's like the real deal.
So how do you end up in stand-up comedy if you didn't fantasize about it?
I was a problem child. Teacher's worst nightmare and class clown were like my little awards.
Oh, really? Were you really a bad kid?
Yeah, I had Saturday detention every single week.
Really?
Yeah, like Breakfast Club, Saturday
What would you
detention.
do in school that was so bad?
I was a huge wise ass. I would say the funniest thing I could think of. Like I just liked making myself laugh and making people uncomfortable.
Right.
I would always and I never saw the teachers as like these untouchable authorities.
Wow.
I'd be like, listen, Gil, I'm really bloated today. I
can't be in your gym class.
Yeah, I was like, I know that you go home and you black out and you call hookers. Like, do I have to pretend because you're wearing a suit that I should respect? I just couldn't.
Wow, so you were disrespectful. Did you go to college?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, no, I wasn't disrespectful to the teachers that like treated you like a human being.
Right.
But you know, the people who like just have personality disorders who take it out on kids. I like justice. You know.
Are men really intimidated by you because
That's
you're?
what I tell myself.
No, seriously. Are they? Do you have a boyfriend?
No, I'm
You
single.
don't. You
Yeah.
broke up recently?
Yep.
Were you dating the guy who was on the roast
Yeah.
with you?
Yeah, we were together for 2 years.
Which guy? Oh, that guy?
Anthony, yeah. He's great.
The guy whose
it
name
wasn't
you
bad.
didn't know.
Yeah,
Right.
like Vandersloot. Well, he has a rapey quality about him. I think that's why I was attracted to him. I always like guys that look like they could play.
Is it weird to
rapists
date
on Law &
another?
Order.
Is it weird to date another comedian?
It
is he
wasn't weird.
competitive?
No, we were never competitive. Luckily, we were both doing pretty well.
Right.
But,
Who's the better comedian, you or him?
Oh, me.
Right.
Come on, let's be
Clearly.
honest.
You're not going to date somebody better than you.
No. He's a great comic. He
Yeah.
really is. Yeah, I would love to be like, he's never gonna make it, but I think he's gonna.
So why'd you break up with him? Seemed like a happy couple, right?
We were good. It was just, we wanted way different things. I would have loved for us to have stayed together.
What'd you want? Marriage and everything?
No. No.
What different things do you want?
I already have a ring. The Nuva ring. What was it? It was just, we're both on the road so much, and I was like down to try and make it work, and he like wasn't able to give as much as I needed, I guess.
Like what did you need?
A text message once in a while.
Like once a week at least?
Yeah.
Acknowledge me when you're not here.
Well, yeah, no. By the end, it was like I'd be like, "Can you text me after shows? Because we're both alone in hotel rooms and
Right.
miserable." And it was like a parody of a guy like on a sitcom. Like he was like, "You're suffocating me," and I was like, "What? Am I a waitress you banged in Fresno?"
Hey, don't I know you?
Yeah. So like he, he's
He
young.
wasn't for that.
No, but I'm excited. I'm
How old are
excited
you?
to be single. 30,
30, and how old's he?
33,
Yeah,
32.
do you think he was banging other chicks on the side, maybe?
Not that I know of.
Right.
I don't think so. Like but
when a
I've
guy
seen
doesn't-
girls like girls want him. They throw them in front of me.
But when a guy doesn't text you, like he's on the
You
road,
think
you're
he's
on the road,
busy.
and he doesn't text you for like 2 days.
Right. I wasn't even worried about that.
Wow.
Seriously, that's not why. Because it doesn't matter. I was like, I wasn't like, go cheat on me. I wasn't like, demi moi. I was like, I hope you don't cheat on me. If you do, I hope I never know about it. And don't like catch any new disease.
Right. Be
Let's just
safe.
keep the ones we have already.
Right.
Let's harness those. But yeah, I don't think so. He's not. I thought he would be the type to be like that, but he like gets too drunk. I think that's what it is. I'm like, no, he won't be able to do anything anyway.
I mean,
but
you
I wasn't
clearly-
worried about that. I just wanted a friend, like my best friend, to be like, yeah, the MC sucks, and just talk.
You clearly are a funny person. Did
Thanks.
it kill you inside when you don't win America's funniest
Next comic
comedian?
No, I
Standing,
couldn't
or last
believe I was
comic
on there. I mean, 3 years, under 3 years I've been doing it. And the other guys had all been doing it 15, 20 years. And I'm just like every step of the way, my like sort of reality character on that show was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Who won that year?
John Reap.
John Rape?
John Ray.
John Sodomy? Do
John
you know
Rape.
him?
Who is this? John who?
Yeah,
John
he's like kind of a
Rape.
blue-collar kind of guy.
I see.
Yeah.
So he won, and you didn't feel, oh, I'm not a funny person, I'm giving up the business.
No, I got fourth. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time. I was like, I'm going on the road.
What were you doing before?
Sorting mail and bartending.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you, so now you're single. How long you been single?
3 weeks.
You date anyone yet? Have
No.
you fucked anyone new?
No. We broke up one time about a year and a half ago, and I was like, all right, like
It's
maybe I'm
on.
still like I was in college. Somebody needs this.
Right.
And I went out and I was like, and I met a guy.
Where'd you
and
meet him? At a bar?
At a bar.
Right.
I met a guy, and I didn't like. I just thought he was really hot. I was wasted. That night, I was like, oh my God, he looks like the Twilight guy, like Robert Pattinson.
Oh,
you know,
that's a handsome guy.
In the morning, I'm like, you look like fucking Governor Patterson. Like he's not cute in the morning. And I'd never dealt with an uncircumcised penis before.
Oh, he was
which is-
uncircumcised.
He was uncircumcised. And
What was he, European?
He was French.
Ah,
I didn't even
French.
know he was French. I thought we were both just like faking the accent, you know? But like, I really realized like that men don't warn you. They just like roll it out, you know?
Yeah.
And so I had to become an award-winning actress. I'm like, oh no, that's totally cool. I'm like, Mom, can you come pick me up?
I got into something here.
Because men don't ever like tell you what you're about to deal with,
You
you know?
never saw an uncircumcised penis in your... I don't
No.
think I've ever seen one, except for Sal, who whips
I've
it
never
out
even
every
seen them
minute.
in porn. Like I was like, what is that? Are we having a pillow fight? Like why is the gnome
Something's
from
wrong with
Travelocity
you.
in your underpants?
Yeah.
Like
Was it
I was
gross?
thrown.
Like, did it smell or something?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It did.
It was gross.
So did you blow him?
No.
No. So what did you like start giving him a hand job kind of thing?
I tried, but it was like an ice cream cone. It melted in my hand. I felt like a magician with the scarves, just pulling. I was just like, get me out of here, you know?
Right.
But he was like, the French guys are different. Like he didn't expect anything. He like couldn't believe that this was happening, and he was really sensual, and he started to pick me up. You know, like when we're kissing, and then I think he realized that he was in over his head. I kind of got planted back down. I'm like trying to feel sexy, and he's like winded from trying to hoist me. But we were like, he gave up like immediately because he's French.
Right.
And
we know how they are.
you know how that goes.
Right.
But I left in the middle. I really did. Yeah, but it wasn't because of like I was like, all right, like your penis is making me ill, the thought of it, but like this little gnome, but it was.
Was it a big penis?
It was fine. It was totally acceptable.
And so you pulled back, and you saw like there was a whole different vibe to it.
I threw the skin over my shoulder like a team player.
And so then he put it inside of you.
He put on a condom. He put it inside me, and then we had to stop after like a second.
Why?
Because something was wrong with the condom, and he was fixing it, and I was looking at him, and he was like, "Well, don't look at me," but he was like, "Well, don't," and I was like, "Ew," and I was like, "You know what? I'm sad all of a sudden. I miss my boyfriend. I'm gonna leave," which you can do as a girl.
Yeah.
Like if a guy's like, "You know what?" You're like,
I mean, that's so. Do you ever feel as a girl like sometimes you have to say to the guy, "Okay, he was in me already. I should let him finish. So let him fuck me a little bit longer." I mean, we went this far.
I felt no responsibility to
good for you
for this guy to achieve orgasm.
You're very healthy.
When I was younger, I had a guy. I met a guy in Montana when I was like 19, and I was like, oh, he was so hot there. He was like a mountain climber.
Montana hot.
Montana.
Muscular.
He came and visited me in New York. Doesn't translate.
It's like when you get that moo when you go to Hawaii.
Yeah,
you
you're
can't
like,
wear it when you
cannot
come
rock it when you're back at home. Yeah, so I learned that the hard way. But I was like 19, and he flew all the way here. So I got myself drunk enough to sleep with him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he flew so far. But now I'm older. I'm like, you can always get out of fucking someone.
What is
unless
it that
it's Tyson?
What is it that it doesn't work? I mean, it's kind of like he's out of his environment.
Yeah.
He's hot there. He doesn't fit in with my friends. That kind of thing.
Well, it was more than that. He was like pointing out gay people.
Oh, I see.
And he was.
Hey, there's a gay.
Oh, this is really New York.
Yeah. You know, when you're in the mountains and all you're seeing is the sky, and he was like in a Dave Matthews cover band. I was 19, okay? I'm 19 years old. And but in retrospect, like he was such a dirtbag. Like he just wanted to.
Hey, wait a second. Here's the French guy who fucked her. We just found him.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's on the boat.
What was it like when you were? What were you like? Did you enjoy having sex with Amy?
Oh my God.
It would have been nice to have a little sex with her.
You were having sex with her.
I was trying to have sex with her.
Yeah,
This
so
is
Instead of
sounding like
flirting my
Borat.
foreskin over her shoulder.
This is not sounding
with
French.
the condom.
Oh, I don't know. It was the condom was grossed out too.
was your foreskin?
Pretend it was upholstery. Use your imagination. You're a comedian.
Oh my God, flawless French accent.
Thank you. That's
Wow.
I trained him myself.
You're a dialect coach. I
That's
had no
right.
idea.
So you were a bad kid
Yeah.
who got in trouble at school, and then you make the switch to become a comedian somehow.
Yeah.
First time you get on stage, a disaster, I imagine. Where do you go to become a comedian?
I went to Gotham Comedy Club.
Yeah.
It used to be on a different street. It was like small, and I just walked by. I'd done theater, like I majored in theater,
Right.
so I didn't have to get over stage fright. But I
Where'd you go to college?
Towson University.
Where the hell
outside
is that?
Baltimore.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Maryland. Yeah. I
Acting center of the world.
Oh God!
Yes.
Everybody
that
comes out
school
of
has
Towson.
churned out every
I think
great
Meryl
artist.
Streep, Jack Nicholson,
Right.
Marlon
They don't
Brando.
I think
talk about
Brando.
it.
He would
Brando.
come back,
Talk about it,
have
but
a
they
couple
all
master
went there.
classes. Yeah.
So you went there.
Charles Dutton, guys. Anybody?
Oh, boy.
Rock.
And then you got up on stage.
Yeah, I tried it
And you killed, I bet, the first time.
the first time. Yeah.
Did you have material when you got up on stage?
I walked past Gotham and it said, if you bring 4 people, you can get on stage. So I called, I'm from not far away. So I called people. They came in and I wrote, horrible jokes and delivered them like I was Seinfeld.
Yeah. What was the first joke that you ever told? Do you know?
Yes.
What is it?
Oh God. It was about, when you're on the bus in the city, they have these things that go across town, you guys, that carry people, buses. You'll never have to worry about it. But
I heard
when you're on the bus, if you feel it like deflate, the tire deflate. It means like a person's getting on that's all jacked up. And it's like some woman like who comes on and her like there's like things living in her legs. I talked about that, and I talked about skywriting and how skywriting annoyed me because it always faded. And I had like a little arc to the set because I was like, so this summer if you're going to propose to somebody, guys, it was like it was horrible.
Was your delivery all wrong? Was it just like...
I had like some sense of timing, but
Right.
I have a tape of it, and it's the most. I would rather watch my parents have sex than watch myself do that again.
Did your family say to you, listen, you're destroying your life, this is ridiculous,
No.
you don't know what you're doing,
My mom was like, when are you headlining the Apollo? You
Wow.
are. She inflated my sense of self my whole life. Like I thought I was a model. Like
Right.
then you get old enough, the kids start getting mean. But
Right.
I walked in the first day of middle school and I was like, who wants it?
Because she convinced you were the best looking girl ever.
She convinced me. She was like, you're an angel, you sparkle, And I was like, look what you made.
Mom.
Oh,
So
I
is
thought
that
it was
bad
amazing.
parenting? Can some parents go overboard in inflating their kids so that they're not prepared for the world?
Well, I feel like I'm glad she did that.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can prepare you for kids are so mean. Like they were so mean. So you're gonna, find reality sooner
Right,
or
it's
later.
there.
But
was your mom in shock whenever you did something bad because she was so convinced you were an angel?
Yeah. She would be like, when I was in 6th grade, I bit a girl. She cut me in line, and it was like the day they had steakums at the cafeteria, which I found out later is just like not at all meat.
Yeah.
But this girl cut me, and I didn't really bite her. I just like scared her.
Right.
So they call my mom and they're like, Amy bit someone. She's like, you have the wrong number. And I'm like, Mom, I was just trying to scare her.
But your mother was a pushover. Hey, you
Yeah.
have a funny story. You went to Great Adventure one time, or one of those places, and you were
Yes.
waiting in line for a very long time.
I went to Great Adventure.
Right.
And I don't like amusement parks. I
Right.
think they're horrifying. But I went to Great Adventure, and I was with this family, and they were intense about Great Adventure. They brought us. We had to go there at 6 a.m. so we could go through the stupid safari. We saw like one thing that might have been a monkey,
Right.
but I think it was just like a stuffed animal. It was like a pigeon wearing ears, and then we waited for the Scream Machine. And there's a special line where you can wait to sit in the front seat because that's the best seat because you look like you're going to die.
Right.
So we wait for hours, and then it's our turn to sit in the front. And who gets to cut the whole line and take our seat? Robin. Robin cut us.
Robin
on the Scream
Quivers.
Machine. Robin Quivers.
say that.
You cut us.
Yeah, you
Kind of a
evidently.
human being. And we're all going, Robin. We've been
Did she
waiting.
get booed?
No, everyone was really excited to see her. She knew everyone loves her. She smiles, and everyone
Great
was like,
Adventure was a sponsor of ours. I remember this.
Right.
And because if you were a VIP, so to
Yeah.
speak, you got to cut in
Well,
front
they
of the
had
line.
somebody bring me around
Yeah.
to every ride.
Right. So, you don't
It
really.
was way more exciting to see you than it was. No one was pissed. Everyone was like,
Well, it's funny because they were a sponsor of ours. So Gary gets told, you can go to Great Adventure. You'll be able to cut in line.
Yeah.
He brings his wife, his 2 kids. They go. He cuts right in the line. He said he got booed so badly. And people started taunting him in front of and his children and everything because
front of his children.
well, in front of his, they were taunting the kids too because you know what, people had waited in line a really long time,
Right.
And all of a sudden, look who's here,
Look
Gary.
who's here.
Gary showed
money
up.
bags.
Yeah,
Phooey.
money.
No, well, he doesn't have that
He said it
smile.
was
He doesn't
so
have Robin's.
bad.
You know what it was? I realize now, especially hearing Amy's story.
Yeah.
Like the woman who brought us around, she said, "Oh, I had Chris Rock last week and everything." So I figure if you're going to get cut, you expect Chris Rock to walk
Yeah.
up. You see
Yeah.
me,
Baba Booey.
like what the fuck?
What a disappointment.
Yeah. So you were. I was reading notes on you. You were a
Yeah.
really bad person because you used to shoplift. You'd get into big trouble.
Wow.
God, did I say that in my interview?
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
I got arrested a couple times.
She got arrested a
I
couple
did
of
You're
times.
lucky not to be in prison.
That
What
is
this?
correct. That is
Every
correct.
kid goes through a shoplifting stage. I
Not
went.
like me.
But did you? I mean, every kid doesn't get caught.
Yeah, well, it was grand larceny. You shoplifted?
Oh my God! All of my friends. My mother did not like my friends. Now I realize why.
They are bad for
They would.
They were
They
bad.
would say, "We're going to go to Roosevelt Field." And we're going to have a shoplifting spree. And I would be in such a nervous panic. I go, well, I want to go along with the group. I
Yeah.
want to be a part of this. And they were all terrific at it. I had a friend who could hide whole record albums. There was no CDs. It was record albums underneath his coat.
Oh, my God.
Another friend would go into like a Barnes & Noble type bookstore and steal every book, hardcover, softcover, everything. And it was sort of like a competition. So they bring me along. I'm sweating bullets. I don't want to steal anything. I have this. I'd never stolen anything in my life.
Yeah.
I walk into Macy's. And I saw tie tacks. Now, I don't wear ties. I'm a little kid.
What are you going to do with
What
that?
do you need a tie?
But I wanted to steal something so I could be in with
Like,
the
look,
crowd.
guys, yeah.
And so I swiped a tie tack. I stuck it in my pocket. I was shitting in my pants. I came out with this tie tack like I had just won the lottery.
Right.
I remember bringing it home and feeling horribly. But the thing that saved me was I brought my cousin with me, and they wanted him to shoplift, and I felt in charge of him.
Right.
And I said, we're going home. I don't want anything bad. I went home. Thank God. All my friends got caught by and they brought the police in. They were involved in everything. But these guys couldn't
They were
really,
trailing them.
I don't know what happened, but somebody got caught in the store, and then that was it, and then it was all over for them. What was your story?
You got caught?
I got caught. Well, the first time I got arrested, I was out. I think it was like a junior Olympic. Like I played volleyball, and we were in San Jose, and it was something. My mom was the chaperone of this tournament, and we were going around, and I was just like stealing whatever, like candles, shot glasses, nothing like that I would ever use.
All junk that you'll never need.
Garbage. And I didn't get caught. The other girls got caught, and they said if anyone else did, fess up. And I'm like, we're a team, right, guys? Okay. I'm like, let's all tell them. I'm like, I did it. Now you guys go. And they're all like,
oh,
yeah, that's
kidding.
all you. Yeah. So I got in trouble. I got benched the whole tournament, knee pads around the ankles. My mom is just the chaperone, just staring at me. I think she still thought she probably didn't do it. Somebody probably planted something on her. But then the time I got arrested, bad. I want to tell you I was like 14, but it was I was like 21. I was like 20 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. I was at Bloomingdale's and with my.
Did you have a problem? Do you think you're a
Your
kleptomaniac?
face was extended.
Yeah.
You are.
I had been shoplifting for a long time.
So some people actually have like a problem. Like like you're not taking
can't go
stuff
into a store without it.
You're not taking stuff you need necessarily. It's just the idea, the thrill of it.
Yeah. No. I mean, isn't it sad? Like I'll read some police blotter when I'm in some city, and it's all like this 90-year-old woman was stealing milk to feed her grandson. I'm like, I already have that pinstripe pantsuit, but why don't I get another one? I was like really well dressed. It was college. I was like stealing a lot of nice clothes, but I figured out a way I could return the clothes and get cash.
Oh no!
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I was into it, but it wasn't about what I could get very much. It was the adrenaline.
Did you go to a psychiatrist about this?
Totally a rush.
Did you go to a psychiatrist about this?
Not about this specifically. I mean, I've gone to many
Have you
psychiatrists.
stopped? Do you?
Oh yeah, no.
You're not going to take You're not going to take our little tchotchkes over there, are you?
No, no. I mean, they're gorgeous. They're really everything in this room looks amazing.
So you
no,
got
I don't have
caught?
a problem stealing things.
Right.
It was only from like
So who
big
caught you?
places. Bloomingdale's.
Bloomingdale's
Yeah,
got you.
they're real. Beware, they're really tough.
And they took you down and they arrested you and the whole thing?
Yeah, and
Wow.
it was with my cousin who is
Senator Chuck Schumer.
he's not my uncle.
What is he?
I don't know. He's like my dad's cousin.
Oh, so you're not. You don't really know him.
We know each other.
Right. Does
if
he root
we saw
for
each
you?
other, I think he hopes that I probably get hit by a train, so my name can stop appearing. Yeah, it's never good press for me.
Don't you think the family is proud of you? Don't you think Chuck Schumer even says, "Hey, you know who my cousin is"?
I don't know what
it
she
depends
is,
on
but
the
we're
thing.
related.
Right.
Like I think they thought Last Comic Standing was exciting, and being here, they'll be super excited about. But other things, like they don't really like. I was trying to explain to my dad what a roast was, and he was like, "Well, maybe you shouldn't do that." You know, I was like, "Maybe not."
What does your dad do for a living?
He mostly just shits himself. He has MS. He lives in a hospital. But it's really somehow not sad because he still thinks he's like gorgeous. Like he's trying to get me to help him set up a Match.com profile.
Wow.
Right.
I'm like, what do you want me to write? Like shits himself and has no memory. He's like, that's perfect.
So your parents are divorced?
Yeah.
And he has MS.
Yeah, but he's like happy. It's the weirdest. He's fine.
You
He's
don't
totally
feel sad
fine.
about any of this?
No, I mean, if I really think about it, it's so like I have seen my father drop heat in front of me at LaGuardia. It was the worst. I was going to spend the summer in Montana with my brother, and he was like, it was when you could still walk people to the gate of their plane. And my dad was like, I'm going to walk you to the gate. Like, there were a lot of, we knew it was getting worse. So we like went surfing for the last time together. Like we, all these last things. And that was really sad. Do it, please. I want you to
cry now. Let's see it.
No,
she's a bullshit artist. She's not crying.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to cry. Can I have another latte?
Yeah.
Let me wipe my tears with this.
That's very heavy to go surfing with your father for the last time.
That was really heavy.
Are you waiting for the big call from Saturday Night Live or something? Like, did you ever fantasize about being on there?
Oh, yeah.
Did you audition?
No, I've been asked to audition. I'm like, trying to get better, and I'm an actor, but I don't really do characters. But I'm not, like, my goals change so much that I want to keep getting better at stand-up, and I'm getting more acting work the past couple of years. It's been really good.
In other words, you still enjoy doing stand-up. A lot of people, like I saw Eddie Murphy on David Letterman, who I think is one of the most brilliant stand-ups. And he was like, at 27, I was done with it. That's it. I never wanted to do it again.
I can't imagine that. I mean, that would be fine if that ever happens, but I can't wait to get on stage every night. Yeah. But it sucks traveling. I mean, everything other than the actual stage time is awful. Like, it's really depressing.
Especially for a girl, because like guys at least go on the road and get laid.
They'll get drunk. They'll get laid. After the show, I'm like, I hope no one says anything too mean to me. I'm like selling my CDs. I'm like, everyone has something. They'll be like, they'll think it's a compliment, and I'm like, they'll be like, you're a lot thinner in person, and I'm like, did you think that I wasn't going to hear that? Like, well, on TV, you're a fucking beast.
Do guys hit on you at all at these clubs?
A tiny bit, but they don't do it well. You know, they'll like come up and try and like make a joke. I would love to like meet a guy and be like, let's check out the Best Western. You're a successful stand-up comedian. Can you make a good living doing it nowadays? Yeah. Or is like income gone down because everyone's sort of hurting? The economy? No, I'm in a good position. I'm not rich. I live in a studio and ride my bike everywhere. What kind of living can a stand-up comic who's really headlining now and doing a good... Like headlining now on TV a little bit. Yeah. You can make 100. Can you make 200? Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So you could have a good year, make 200 grand. Yeah, totally. And you travel. How many days a week you got to travel? I'm usually on the road 4 days a week. Okay. I'm trying to do it less. I'm trying to only go out maybe 1 or 2 weeks a month. Right. But the bigger you get, if you do a couple more of these Comedy Central things, you get to do a theater.
Right. And then suddenly the world is your oyster. Oh, you have a private jet. There is no road. You get to fly home, sleep in your own bed. You'll never drive yourself again. Have sex with your own wife. So what's the goal? You want to be the world's greatest stand-up? No. You just want to make a living being a stand-up. You want to get more acting work. Yeah, I want to develop. I want to, make... What's the best acting job you've had? I just did a movie with Steve Carell. Oh, no kidding? Yeah, it's called Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. That's a big deal. Yeah, and I'm developing a show with Comedy Central, and CBS just bought a pilot. Oh, cool. Very nice. I'm making moves, and I'm going to be on this show that's on Adult Swim called Delocated, and it's the funniest show I've ever seen. So this is it for you. You're on your way. I'm trying. I want to just, what do you think? Don't you just have to keep making it interesting and fun for yourself? Yes, you do. Right? Yeah, otherwise you go insane. Let's go to Rick. We're on with Amy Schumer. Her album... Cutting is available now on iTunes. Are you referring to the fact that you cut yourself or something? That my cousin did. Yeah, my sister did. Your sister was a cutter? Well, that's what the joke is on the album. Oh, that's funny. What? Yeah, well, the way I get off stage is I say, I'll leave you with this. My little sister, used to cut herself. And then I put the mic in the mic stand and I leave. And that's the joke. That's the end of my set. After I spend an hour with these people, I leave them with nothing. Is that a reality or is that a joke? It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm not clear, but I won't press you. No, my sister's a school psychologist doing really well. I see. Okay, yeah. Very good. All right. Well, that's what happens. If you do cut yourself, you become a psychologist. Rick, go ahead in Pittsburgh. Hey, thanks, King. Amy, were you spanked growing up, and do you think you still deserve a spanking for all that shoplifting you did? Well, thank you for asking that. All right, that's Richard. But it is an interesting question. I was spanked growing up. And fully nude? Yeah, and once in a while a finger would slip in, and I'd be like, wait, is this punishment or not? Who was spanking you? Your Mom dad? Spanked me. Dad spanked me once because Mom made him, and he cried the whole time. But it was really awkward. Did they make you pull down your pants and get spanked? I don't remember being ass out. Luckily, I was at an age where I totally had it coming. If they hadn't spanked me... she remembers. I loved every second of it. Because I find you a very intelligent woman. Thank you. A very bright, sexy woman. But, I could see where a guy gets intimidated because let's say we get in bed and then I want to spank you or something like that. I would think, oh, she's going to think this is funny. She's going to make jokes about it. I mean,
I am no jokes in the bedroom.
You are able to turn it off.
I am dirty, and I am no jokes in the bedroom.
What does it mean you're dirty?
I like having fun in
Not
bed.
anal.
I've never had anal.
You talk dirty?
Yeah.
Oh.
You do?
I like being talked to. I like talking. But I dated a guy.
Yeah.
The last guy I dated, he needed, like, the sex got really weird really fast. Which I guess it has to. Because if you don't enter that stuff in early, like, after 5 years and you're like,
it's hard to put
will
it
you
in,
wear this rice patty hat? You'll be like, where's this coming from? But, so it got to a place where he wanted to watch me watch porn every time, and he needed me to talk constantly about things I'd done.
Oh.
So at a certain point, like, I ran out of shit. Like, I started lying, and then he
because you're not that sexually experienced. I mean, there's only so many experiences.
There's only so much I've done.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like making up stories, and then he started like fact checking. He'd be like, wait, you said, I'm like, fuck you. I haven't had a new story for like a year.
Right.
It was exhausting.
Tell me the time that girl came on to you.
Yeah.
And,
I'm like, do you really think any of this happened? It's like whenever I start dating a guy, I always pretend like maybe I'm like, I don't know, I've thought about a threesome, but, and then 6 months in, I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's weird.
I mean, at some point, you
just got to like having sex,
it can
right?
get, it can get, exactly.
Yeah,
it can get
like,
weird.
what about just fucking each other?
Yeah, doesn't it feel good enough being inside of me?
Penetration.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
Do you need a lot of foreplay?
Not a lot.
Right.
I like
If a guy spanks you, you don't think that's weird, though, right? You're
No.
okay with it. You're down with it.
I'm more than down with it.
Right. Oral
Yeah.
sex okay with you both ways?
Totally.
You're all right with it.
Huge fan.
Unless you're not circumcised.
Yeah, in which case, get out of here.
Gunplay,
Gunplay,
sweet-
only on
you-
the high holy days.
shoot you in the foot, maybe, with my gun?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Bill. Bill says he wants to say hi to Amy Schumer, the new album Cutting, available on iTunes. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Howard. Hey, now.
Hey, now.
Hey, Amy. How you doing?
Hi, Bill.
I really love you.
Thank you.
All right, I don't think we're going anywhere with this. Nick, let's go to Nick in Charleston, West Virginia. Go ahead.
Hey, Howard, I just want to get your opinion. Don't you think she's 10 times hotter and funnier than Whitney Cummings?
Well, what about that? Are you, because you...
Are
sort
you
of,
hotter
because,
than Whitney?
Yeah, first of all, yeah.
No.
Are you hotter than Whitney Cummings?
That's a definitive no.
Are you friends with Whitney Cummings?
Yeah.
Okay. I like Whitney very much.
Me too.
Now, because you're a female comic, it's almost like, Eddie Murphy was talking about this. He was the black comic for a while. He was like, there was no room for two.
Yeah.
It's like you sat in, Whitney wasn't on the comedy roast. Now, are you being compared to Whitney now? Is it like a competition?
No one has said that to me. But I think there's room for all of us, for real.
I would think so.
And I don't know how other people feel, but when I see a funny woman, I'm like, yes, like, trust me, I don't want to be the one. I think women are hilarious. So at Whitney, there's no sense of competition.
Whitney's very funny.
She's motivated. Like,
Are you a Sarah
great.
Silverman fan?
Yeah, totally.
Are you a Sandra Bernhard fan?
Yes.
You like you root for other comics.
Hell yeah.
Rosie
Absolutely.
O'Donnell, you enjoy
I
her?
do.
Yeah.
I do. No,
Howard,
Ellen DeGeneres, you like her?
Yeah.
You do. So
she had me on her show. I was the first female comic. She had me on her show.
Do you know her personally?
Just from her,
Just
like
from,
her
just
getting
from
me
the
on the show. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to
Howard, can I throw in one more thing?
Yes.
Whitney, I'm sorry, Whitney.
Amy.
You can call me whatever you want, Bill. Oh, Bill's gone. This is West Virginia.
Nick, go ahead.
I have masturbated to those pictures of you online many times.
What pictures?
Thank you.
What pictures?
I posed naked in Cosmo.
Did you? Mm-hmm. What am I going to...
Sexiest thing I've ever seen.
Is that
Thank
true?
You. Yeah.
You were nude?
Yeah.
No hang-ups,
I shot at the Comedy Cellar.
You have big breasts now.
Thanks.
Look at, what are you, like a C?
Yeah.
I'm going to say you're a C cup. No inhibition about that.
No, I'm like, I better do it now while everything is still kind of where it's supposed to be.
Did anybody say to you, like an agent or anything, like, listen, Amy, don't do this?
Yeah, and I was like, bye. I'm doing this.
And what'd your mom say about this?
She was at the shoot.
She was there.
She was watching the door. We did it at the Comedy Cellar, and she was making sure no beer deliveries came in while I was...
You show the vagina?
No.
Just the titties?
Yeah.
What'd you do with the vagina?
I was just in underwear. I mean,
Panties.
they were like, will you take off your panties? And I was like, okay. And my mom was like, no.
No, you pay for that.
Oh, yeah. I was like, okay.
No kidding.
No, yeah.
I have to see this.
Check it out.
Oh, you are free.
Hey, thanks, Howard.
Why did you bring your mom to a nude shoot?
I don't know. I think, well,
I wouldn't feel sexy in front of my mom.
I didn't mind it. I guess that is pretty boundaryless and disgusting, but I felt fine. Because it wasn't about, it's Cosmo, so, I mean, I wanted to feel sexy, but
was
it was
your mom
more,
naked too, just to support
everyone
you?
was naked.
Beautiful,
her boobs were on the floor, running around.
Wow.
No, it was, there's one of them.
Look at you, naked.
Oh.
Oh.
Smug over the shoulder shot. Yeah, it was like about the article I wrote to go along with it. They gave me like 6 pages. Like they've been very cool to me. Kate White, the editor-in-chief there, is the coolest woman ever.
You look so cute there.
Thank you. Yeah, they chose like a little cute one. I was like, can we use the ones where I look dirty? And they were like, no.
But no nips? You don't see any nipple?
No. Well, I have some. I don't know if there are any online where you see nipple, but there were some where you saw more.
Yeah, and you have a good body image. In other words, you don't sit there all day like these women and obsess. Oh, I've got to lose 5 pounds. I got to gain 10 pounds. You're not freaked out.
I mean, I'll have days where I'm like, oh my God, what happened? But I feel like sexy. I feel like good. I work out. I take care of myself.
When you date a guy, do you walk around the house nude?
Not over like not annoying. I'm not
You're
like
not
the
a
sign
nudist?
like opening
Okay.
pickles. But I'm naked a lot. I'm not hurrying to the bathroom covering myself up.
All right, Abe, go ahead. You're on the air. You're on with Amy Schumer, and then I'll let you out of here. We've kept you locked up for an hour. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Hey, Howard. Hey, now.
Hey, Abe.
Amy, just a question and a comment.
Okay.
Number one, what is it you do for a living? And number two, I'm looking forward to seeing you appear on a carton of milk.
Okay.
What does that mean? That's an insult.
He's
He wants
insulting
me
her.
to be.
yes.
He wants me to be.
I saw you
stolen.
on the Charlie Sheen roast. I didn't think you were funny at all.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
You're-
She was so funny.
Oh, yeah. Her joke about...
What about her talking about her dad? How much darker does this get?
Oh, yeah, the joke that she made about Steve-O's buddy...
That was not a
you're
bad
upset
joke.
about that.
Well, let's talk about it. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
let's talk about it. What made you upset about me saying that joke? Let's talk about
I thought
it.
it was tasteless.
It hurt your feelings. You thought it was too
No, it
soon.
didn't hurt my feelings. I just really thought it was tasteless.
Okay, you're completely entitled to feel that way. I didn't say it with any malintent. I didn't think that it was going to hurt anyone's feelings, but I understand you feeling that way. That's okay.
Okay. I mean, I'll tell you this. You're cute as hell. I'd love to bang you.
Thank you.
Well,
that
hey,
means the
that's
world.
nice.
That's something.
That means the world.
By the way, I
Thank
should
you.
tell you, this guy is Anthony Jeselnik, the guy you date. Yeah, so go ahead, Pat. Pat, you're on
Hey,
the...
how you doing, Howard?
Hey, now.
Amy, you were on a roast a while ago, and you did a joke about leg braces. It was the funniest thing. And
Thanks.
What one
I
was
think
that?
you're
Well,
the
I
greatest
just said-
comedian, and I'm glad you're getting, the recognition you deserve. And Howard, I love you, 20-year listener plus.
Thanks, Pat.
And thanks for getting me through every day.
All right,
Oh,
Pat, thank you. What was the
What a
joke
sweetheart. I just
that Pat's
said
talking
I said I
about?
wasn't a good-looking kid, but then the old story, I finally got the braces off of my legs, and yeah, that's it. But that's really nice.
Well, Amy, I wish you the best.
Thank you so
it was
much.
great having
Thank
you
you
here.
for having me here. This
the
is a
album is
dream.
called Cutting. I enjoyed your performance on Charlie Sheen Roast,
Thank
and I
you.
wanted to meet you, and I'm glad you came in. I think you're great.
Thank you.
Amy Schumer's album Cutting is available now on iTunes. Don't miss Amy November 5th at the Varsity Theater in Minneapolis. It's going to be a big show.
Well, there's a
show,
theater.
big
All right.
show.
You sell your own merchandise after the show?
Yes, it's the worst.
Is that the most embarrassing part of being a comedian nowadays?
It's like the red light district.
In other words, you get off the
You're
show.
up on the stage.
I mean, you're on the stage, you're the big star, and then you what? You walk to the back of the club.
Peddling my wares. It's
you
so
stand there-
humiliating.
Can you get someone to maybe do that for you, or
Yeah, but then, then
what
it's-
items do you have that you sell?
Oh, I just sell a CD.
Just a CD? No
CD,
T-shirts?
my hypercolor T-shirts, my
Your clothing line?
boxers. Yeah, no, I've got
so
nothing else.
you have a booth. You set up a little booth,
They'll have like some table, and they'll just have my CDs there waiting for me,
and you'll sit there.
and I sign it. Yeah.
And do you bring change and things with you so you can?
I'm the worst.
Yeah.
Like when I did the Last Comic Standing tour, I sold a CD that I would just burn on my computer, and I would sell it for $5. And sometimes I wouldn't have any more CDs, so I would sell like the cookies that they left in the green room. But
That's
no,
funny.
I'm not good at marketing myself.
Is it worth how much extra money can you make a night? Is it worth the humiliation of sitting there and having to sell your own CD?
I can make an extra $700 a weekend,
wow.
and that's a lot.
big-
That's a lot of money for me.
That's
yeah.
big money.
But it really doesn't feel worth it. It is a horrifying, embarrassing thing.
Do you bring your own credit card machine? I mean, how does it work financially? Like, how do you
No.
like? Let's say someone
I'm
buys.
standing there.
If someone buys, I don't know how much a CD is. How much? Is $20.
Yeah.
And they say, "Look, I have $100. Can you break it?"
I'll say no. Can you go to the bar? Sometimes
see.
people be like, I have to go to an ATM, and then they leave their date there with me, and they're like, so where do you go next? And I'm like, I want to kill myself.
Now you've got to entertain this person.
It's because you've just expended so much energy. You know, you put so much of yourself into it. The last thing you want to do when you leave is that, so right after the show, I have to be
also,
like tap dancing.
I would think, to build up your star quality, to see after you've killed on stage and you've done your thing, to be sitting there hawking your wares, so to speak.
It's not good.
Wouldn't it be good if the club could just provide someone for all the comics that would sell? I guess you can.
But then people feel like it's mean and they want a picture and they want to meet you. So it's like, okay, I'm like, let me do that. These people came out, they spent their weekend night with me. But I don't know. Sometimes it wouldn't be as hard if people didn't have all the backhanded compliments.
After my show, I stand in the Sirius lobby. I'm selling CDs too. Amy Schumer's album Cutting is available now on iTunes. And by the way, for all things Amy, go to amyschumer.com. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
That was fun.
Thank you so much.
I had a good time.
Oh man, so did I. Thank you so much.
Great meeting you.
Amazing meeting you. Thank you.
A lot of fun.
Thanks a lot.
You're so funny.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah.
I get the. I used to get the. Hey man, your teeth aren't that big, and I'd be like, thanks.
Yeah, you're like, oh wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Amy, I knew the whole time you were doing that great adventure story. I was only there twice. I was like, this is gonna be it.
But we were so excited. But I was just like, we were like, hey, what? Oh, we were excited, and we have the picture because we sat right behind you. So there's a picture of us with you on the screen
that's
machine.
hysterical.
Yeah, it was really ridiculous.
Goodness. Well, you were great. I love the roast stuff.
You.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.
Amy, well done today.
Yeah, was it good?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Usually, you can sort of gauge it, I think, by how long you're in the studio for.
Oh, do some people go in and out?
Yeah.
But that was good though.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, good.
A nice slow roast. An hour.
An hour.
So really cooked in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm glad that there was one caller that was mad because it was like, okay, good. So it's not all just fun and games. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you got the full Stern Show experience.
Yeah.
Now, why is coming here like the mecca for comedians? Because Howard's not a stand-up guy.
I think just because he's so honest, he doesn't blow any smoke. So, if he likes you, he really likes you. He doesn't need to pretend.
Right, so he's not shticky like some terrible comedian.
Yeah, he doesn't need anything from anybody. So it really comes just from a place of him enjoying what you do. So it's like the biggest compliment.
Cool, and I look forward to your next appearance, and hopefully you can talk more about Uncircumcised Frenchmen.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
Yeah, I wanted to know more.
Let's get back to the rape.